So I would like to welcome everyone on the fourth Macedonian Manufacturing Expo event. Unfortunately, this year virtual, but we were thinking due to the situation that even for the next year, as the situation is developing, all the fairs and conferences are still continuously canceling. So we thought it will be a good idea to have any kind of event, better to try to continue what we started in 2016 with our mission to connect the foreign buyers with the Macedonian suppliers. Until now, we achieved some good results, and first of all, very good collaboration with PME and also other organizations who are helping us to reach the foreign buyers, and with a decent sum of collaboration and contracts. Last year was the biggest Macedonian Manufacturing Expo. We introduced for the first time the exhibition part. So we had like about 20 exhibitors, also international. For the first time, we had a regional conference. So that means that we had suppliers not only from Macedonia, but also from the region, Kosovo, Albania, Montenegro, Serbia. This year is, of course, due to the COVID, it's not that broad from the side of the number of participants, but we are still having some regional impact, and we have suppliers from the region. I wouldn't take much of the time. I suggest to start with the presentations, and then we have some good discussion. I think we have a lot of subjects to cover. I think that our listeners are more keen of hearing, since we are not traveling, we have less contacts this last year. So I think we are all keen to learn what are your views from your side of the world, how the buyers are thinking, what is happening in the industry, how the bigger companies are reacting during the crisis, especially from the side of the purchasing. So I have a great honor today to welcome with us some very honored and interesting guests. With us is our long year partner in this event, Mr. Olaf Holzgrefe, Head of International and Affairs of PME, German Association for Purchase and Logistics. He is the one who is bringing every year all the news and all the trends, and of course, a lot of buyers of this event. So welcome for the third time, I would say, Mr. Holzgrefe. Mrs. Anja Quiring, who is a regional director for Southeast Europe for the German Eastern Business Association. So welcome, Mrs. Quiring. I learned that it is not your first time in Macedonia, even though now it's virtually. So we are happy to have you now on our event, and we are expecting some good insight and view from your side, since you are very much involved in what's happening in Southeast Europe in terms of connecting the politics, business, economies, and try to develop one big region of based on economy. So welcome again. Then we have two buyers also with us, which will be very, very good and very valuable for all of us to hear their challenges this period, in terms of for us as suppliers to learn better what do we need to do in order to adjust to the changed world and expectively also change the rules of supply. We have with us very big and important company, Cincinnati, Battenfeld, Cincinnati. So please welcome Mr. Karsten Stehmann. Sorry if I don't pronounce your name very good. And we please let me welcome also Mr. Bogdan Constantinescu from the company Osborn, who is also a buyer for different companies. I think I will leave the floor now to, I will invite Mr. Holzgrefe to start this panel with his overview of the purchasing world today in Germany.
Marta, thank you very much for this kind introduction. Thank you for being invited for the third time. And I only want to mention, we met first time in 2015 in Munich with the first Western Balkan Purchase Initiative. I think we started a good journey. And yes, of course, 2020 is a very challenging year for all of us. So therefore, I want to give a short overview because I talked to all the presenters yesterday regarding the next, let's say, 40 minutes due to the content. I will leave the floor first to Anja Quiring because I know she had a very, very tight schedule today, so that she can give us first a little bit the political overview regarding the situation in Southeastern Europe and in the Northern Macedonian area in specific. After that, I will present a little bit an overview about the current situation in procurement and the developments, and then I discussed with the two buyers, with Bogdan and Mr. Stehmann yesterday, regarding that they will focus more the real needs they have actually in the area of Macedonian Manufacturing Expo, instead of thinking about what's going on, because a lot of these challenges and changes I will have in my presentation in a short-term view, so they can talk about more about their companies, that the people out there in Northern Macedonia and on the screens will know what Battenfeld, Cincinnati and Osborn is looking for, because these are typical German-oriented, quality-oriented metal and overall industry and supplier-oriented companies. And I think this will have a good overview about what is going on also in the B2Bs in the afternoon or tomorrow, because I think there's one of the strengths in our cooperation, Marta, in the last couple of years, that we looking forward that the real demand is meeting the real supply opportunity, and then the companies can make their build their bridges by their own. So therefore, Anja, I will leave the floor first to you, so that you can run with your schedule, and then you can leave whenever you want. I know that you have a very tight schedule. Anja, you are a long-term expert, and I know you because you're serving also to the Ministry of Commerce, and you're sitting together with ministers of all these countries in the Balkan region, from Bulgaria till Croatia, and you know all the developments. And the German Eastern Business Association is also a long-term partner for us as BME in the Western Balkan Purchase Initiative, the Goran Djindjic Stipendium Program, and we run a joint survey for Eastern Europe. So whenever somebody is out there, go for the BME or the Eastern Committee website and participate at this survey as well. Anja, 2020, challenging times, not only in Germany, also in Southeastern. What is Eastern Ostausschuss, Eastern Committee view? Your floor.
Yeah, Olaf, thank you very much for this introduction, and thank you, Marta, for inviting actually us. And finally, we are really happy to be a partner and to support of this event overall, because I think this is very important. And it was mentioned, COVID pandemic is the challenge of this year. But Let me just say a few words about the German Eastern Business Association, because it's a quite difficult name, and in German it's the Ostausschuss. So we are a quite old and traditional initiative of the German businesses when it comes to Eastern Europe. We were founded in 1952, and we are in charge now for about 29 countries. Southeastern Europe is my field of work and my responsibility. And that means that I covered the countries of the Western Balkans 6, plus Romania, Bulgaria, Croatia, Slovenia, and Moldova. So you see there are different layers. We have to discuss about countries already a part of the European Union. We are talking about countries in the accession process to the European Union, and we talk about a country part of the European or of the Eastern neighborhood. So sometimes different starting points, but at some stages, of course, we see also some things, they are not really different, where the countries are not really different to each other. What do we do? First of all, we are partners of our companies, of German companies who have invested or who are intending to invest or to intend to have more cooperation with the countries and companies of the countries we are working with. Therefore, we try to establish as good and solid networks actually in the countries we are working with the governmental representatives. Olaf mentioned this already, but also with other stakeholders as associations, chambers networks, the regional chambers networks, and of course the bilateral chambers we have in the region as well. We organize usually we organize delegations, visits to the countries, and indeed Marta, Skopje is quite familiar for me and to me, especially since I would say 2018 with the start of the new government, the legacy actually, or when it started with the government of Zoran Zaev, there were a lot of visits in different formats just to see what is going on and where is now the things, where do the things are developed. And so what we also organize is conferences and other stuff. And you mentioned the Dora and Gingic internship program of the German businesses for the Western Balkans. This is one of the main programs, I would say, which was established actually with Serbia in 2003 after the assassination of Zoran Gingic. But then in 2007, we included also the neighboring countries, and just to support, not just to build a bridge between the theoretical education of young people and their practical experiences within a company, but also to support somehow the regional cooperation, the regional communication among those young people. Therefore, we strongly support the alumni network of this program, which is, since the program was founded in 2003, we are now preparing, or my colleague is preparing, the 18th generation of the program. So you can imagine how many years of work experience our alumni already gathered. So therefore, they are important partners to us as well to learn about more about the political and economic development in the region. But coming back to one of the main points, where do we stand from our perspective, from the German business perspective in the region? So, of course, since the beginning of the Corona pandemic, first of all, we really had good figures when it comes to the bilateral trade between the countries of the region and or the economies of the region and Germany. Over the last 10 years, we can say that the amount of goods traded tripled, and in 2019, we had an overall volume of 12 billion euros trade. So that was really a good starting point for 2020. And the first 2 months or even 3 months were really quite promising. But afterwards, of course, we have to consider there is a crisis, and there were stops of production and sometimes also of delivering goods. So unfortunately, when we take the figures now, the latest one, including September, we have a decrease of our trade of about 12%. But we hope that these things will again somehow turn into a positive dynamic over the next year. And since we had this good dynamic over the last years, which is, from my perspective, also because we have the purchasing initiative and because we are working so close together when it comes to support companies to develop new supply chains, new suppliers in the region, to support the local businesses, be much more in contact with companies of the internal market. So I think this is one of the main pillars how to support the businesses in the countries in the Western Balkans, because everybody is talking about foreign direct investments. But one of the main investments from our perspective is, beside these investments, which are important, is really to support the existing businesses, to support that they are strengthening, that they gather more competitiveness, and that they are good partners to German suppliers and companies which are looking for new partners in the region. Because from my perspective, this is really a potential which we still have to develop much more, and that's why our cooperation also with the BME and is so fruitful from my perspective and important, and the work the BME is doing regarding the purchasing initiative is important. Maybe just to highlight, and or before the crisis, or not even before the crisis, but I'm strongly believe that this still will remain. Germany is one of the main trading partners, but as well also investor in the region. And when it comes to the amount of companies, it's always not so easy to say how many companies with German capital participation do we have in the region. We think that this is about 1,000, but this figure, of course, depends who is counting and which statistic you are asking. But nevertheless, we were asking our delegations and bilateral chambers how many jobs were generated in the region, and this is really an impressive figure from my perspective. And it is about 100,000, more than 100,000 jobs created. When it comes to North Macedonia, I've checked this also with our delegate of the German businesses, and the delegation is also supporter of this forum here. Then we talk about 20,000 jobs created by companies, German companies, or companies with German equity. So I think this also underlines how important, or at least how sustainable also German engagement or German businesses is engaged in the region, because we are not talking about trading, buying, selling, but we really talk about producing and creating jobs in the region. So, and then we come already to the challenges we do have, and these are common challenges we have here in the region for all the companies. And one of the main challenges, I would say, which is stopped now, or at least quieter now because of the pandemic, because nobody is able to travel, but it's the migration of young and qualified workforce from the region to other countries, to neighboring countries. And I think, and I'm not the only one who has this observation, but as soon as we recover and as soon as the people will start to travel again, we again will face this topic and this challenge. Therefore, a good dialogue among politics, businesses, and other stakeholders is important about this topic, how to create a surrounding that people can work here, and that we together can develop the businesses here, and to have the life perspectives within the region. Because it's of course the businesses is important to develop to support the economic development, but when the people are leaving, it's hard to stay on that track and to enhance the investments companies already have planned. So I think this is one of the main challenges we do face, beside the ones we had before Corona. We have them now, and we have to work together on this also after Corona. And this is one of the main framework condition or investment condition for the companies, for German companies, international companies, but also local companies. And it's a question of rule of law and fight against corruption, where we see a lot of potential and a lot of potential for improvements, which would be important to really get new investors to the region and to be attractive for investors and cooperation partners. And last but not least, my last point, as I was talking about the region, the Western Balkans 6 and so on, finally, we're also a strong supporter of the regional cooperation among the countries of the Western Balkans 6, and therefore we also supported from the very beginning the so-called Berlin process initiated by our Chancellor in 2014, and the processes behind. And when it comes to one of the main potentials for this region, I would say it's regional cooperation, because then the market, we create a much bigger market, and it's digitalization. And there we also quite engaged. We supported the Digital Summit series, and we will also present by mid of December a new study on the potential of digital transformation in the region. And we are also in close contact here with the Regional Cooperation Council. So I already can invite you for this presentation, and I will share with all the colleagues here the invitation as soon as we have prepared it. But you can already, the 17th of December, mark in your schedule, and then we will present the results, which I would say are will be for sure quite interesting, also for the businesses, and also the political recommendations hopefully will be heard, because finally we have a common topic when it comes to education and improving digital skills, just to use the potential of digitalization. So actually I would like to leave it with it, Olaf. Okay. I hope it was
Yeah, if somebody has such a long experience in this region, I think there are a lot of other topics you can tell about, but I appreciate the highlight that qualified business need qualified people, and that's why also Solar Ginger program and all the other things which ends in a qualification of people is, I think it's a good project. And I think it's also helped my colleagues inside of the meeting here and the buyers out there at the conference later or wherever to work together, because only good people make good products. And therefore this also isn't maybe for all the politicians in the region out there, though, an investment in qualification, or every euro or whichever dollar put into qualification of people is a good dollar. So thank you, Anja, for your overview. And now I will make a short
Unfortunately, indeed, I have to leave now, because I have to prepare a big meeting for tomorrow. And as always, the latest changes are coming right before meetings. So unfortunately, I have to say bye-bye. And I'm sorry that I'm not able to follow and to join any longer, but many thanks for inviting. And
I will guide Karsten and Bogdan to make good businesses later on. So thank you.
Talk later on, and you will let me know about the results of the meeting. Marta, many thanks, and regards to Skopje. Bye-bye.
Say thank you for your presence, and I wish you a good meeting tomorrow, and see you next occasion. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen out there, I will try now to share my screen and make a short presentation about 5 to 6 minutes regarding what the BME is doing and how the situation is. And then we can talk about some things Anja just mentioned a little bit, but I think Mr. Stehmann and Mr. Constantinescu will highlight this as well, because what Anja is saying, I will summarize in short, is also what Marta and I have mentioned a little bit before that when we started in the cooperation between MAMEI in the Western Balkan Purchase Initiative in 2015, there was a huge challenge to integrate Macedonian companies. And if I look to the 2020 figures, we see a huge and positive development, especially in the small, medium-sized sector in Northern Macedonia, because a lot of companies have been selected and participate actively in the Western Balkan Purchase Initiative. And I think it's a good development, especially if you're looking in about specific commodities. And this is also because the qualification is changed. There was some investment in the infrastructure, which is a really important issue, because I think we'll talk about digitalization also in the supply chain and procurement later on, because this is an issue both buyers need. Whenever you are able to communicate in various digital ways, ERP systems, SAP, communication, web, and whatever, it's an important thing to get in touch and keep a partner as a partner for long term, which is a typical signal from a German company that they don't looking for short-term partnerships, they're looking for long-term partners which they can jointly develop. So now I will share my screen for a short and talking about a little bit about the BME. So most of you out there, maybe if you participate in the Western Balkans, will know the BME. We are the largest association in procurement in Europe, with more than 9,700 members. We have trained and educated more than 200,000 people, include our events. In normal years, we have 900 events. Yeah, we have 900 events maybe this year, but they were to 97% digital. We have roughly 100 employees here in Frankfurt and have more than 4 branches. And our core target is, first of all, qualification, because this is one strength. As you know, German companies are not the cheapest one, but we serve the world with better qualified products. And whenever you talk to a German buyer later on in the B2B, think about that you be part of this made in Germany if you enter the supply chains. We're doing in-house trainings, e-learnings, and in Germany we serve in cooperation with the German Chamber, a certification called Certified Procurement Manager. The know-how is also very important. I will show you some figures about the Purchasing Manager Index in Germany. We publish every month. We have publication guidelines. By the way, we have also expert councils, roughly 30, where we talk about the specific issues in procurement. For example, supplier management is one expert council, global sourcing, which is under the authority of me and my team. And I also welcome Lisa Iminsak and Giselle Kanawati. These are the big experts running the purchasing initiative in operational way. And I want to thank you, these 2 women, very specific and extra here in this audience, because without them, we are as BME not able to provide you such a service as we done in 2020 with an online purchasing initiative. We are also the center of innovative procurement of the German government. So we're talking about innovation in the public sector. We have B2B international services. We just talked this morning with colleagues about the new benchmark. We're talking about KPIs and best-in-class benchmarks, so how we can compare companies. And we're making forums and congresses. So this is overall a little bit about the BME. So whenever you have questions, don't hesitate to contact us, me and my team. What's special in this year, we're talking about a crisis, a pandemic, a COVID crisis, but to be honest, COVID is not the only problem we have actually in the world of procurement and supply chain. In roughly 30 days, we're talking about the Brexit. I think nobody knows how this Brexit will be organized, and however it will be organized, there will be new challenges. We have the trade conflict between the United States and China. There is a name, we have still the thing that a president of the United States changed a lot of things in the international networks, which was Trump. It was also not easy, especially in the communication between the European Union and the United States. Maybe there will be a change from beginning of January, but also we have a climate change and a mobility change. And this leads also that there's a huge market change, and maybe Mr. Constantinescu, Mr. Stehmann will talk about why, because Mr. Constantinescu is not, they are not typical automotive companies, but especially automotive companies have huge changes and maybe a demand of new suppliers in the coming years, because if we go away from the traditional engine technology towards to e-mobility, this needs new supply chains, new productions, and also new partners. And by the way, and this leads to a change in a lot of other industries as well. So it's not only the crisis of Corona, which leads to the situation we have. If we look to the Purchasing Manager Index to latest August, also the numbers in September, October were quite similar. That if you see, we have a crisis in 2009, but it's also a good figure to show that the crisis in 2020 is not coming out of nothing. There was after a boom year of 2018, we have a little bit a change in the procurement since 2018 leads to end of 2019. And then there come the rough crisis in 2020 due to closed borders, closed companies, lockdowns we still have, and huge challenges in the company. Then we have a recovery and a good situation, especially in Germany for the production sector in the area of mid-end May until September. And then suddenly now we have the second wave. And as you might know, also we talking about light lockdowns. We have lockdowns in France. So this is a huge challenge for all, especially the small and medium-sized enterprises, not only in Germany, in all over Europe, to come through this crisis as healthy as possible. So we are talking about a lot of challenges in the industry, but not only the industry, you know it by yourself, hotels, events, restaurants, and all the other industries which have a huge challenge in the next couple of months and years. So you see that the situation was not so bad in the summer, and we hope that the situation will come back and that everything what's green is a little bit grows from a very low level, but we have a growth situation. India and Asia was a little bit challenging. At the moment, we come back to this challenge situation. If we're talking about supply chains and strategic procurement, we're talking about global sourcing as well as procurement organization, logistic, the strategic quality in the supply chain and the procurement. So procurement wants to optimize the value network, but nevertheless, it's still the same story that the magic square is to reduce cost, to improve quality, to drive innovation through the supplier network. So whenever you have an idea, communicate it to your buyer, because he will appreciate every innovation or every change or better idea you can provide him. Also in terms of increase the speed of production and processes. And if we look back into the 2020, what was the major challenges, which is mainly the challenges right now, it's the assessment challenge. Transparency is very important. Transparency means that the largest challenge for our procurers in the first wave was not to know what's going on in their supply chain. If there is a late delay of delivery or no production, we're talking about reliability of whatever he gets out of his supply chains and out of the systems regarding information, dates, prices, whatever. But we also have a new work organization out there in North Macedonia. You will still recognize it, that what we're doing here today is also another way of organizing an event. If it's working virtually, you don't you're not able to visit your supplier as often as you want. The supply chains are organized differently. You have to reorganize value chains if they are disrupt. Single source was a big problem. So that's also people looking more and more for this reshore, the German near area, maybe to get a second or third sort option to reduce risk in their own supply chains for the future. And the big word is digitalization. I don't want to go to the purchasing measures during the crisis because, okay, they are looking for second source options and they want to reduce indirect costs. We have short-time work in Germany. This is what all you already know. And what are the lessons learned for the future? That it's digitalization and the proactive risk management is the lessons learned for the buyers. So looking for other options if the supply chain are disrupted. These are things we will talk about tomorrow. Of course, backup, monitor, but at the moment, and whenever you can support your buyer at the moment with your financial situation, this is a huge challenge for the companies in and out of Germany, that the financial situation of your suppliers, of your supply network is a very important KPI, because you never know what's going on. And therefore, we expect as BME, in cooperation with our buyers, that there will be a lot of insolvencies coming to us in the next couple of months, not only in Germany, also in the other Western and Eastern European countries. And where they will be, everywhere. So mainly, of course, Germany, Italy, and France, but this insolvency will hit all of our countries in the future. And this is what it's about in the future. We will talk about a new procurement organization. So if you are a supplier, be prepared for this new procurement organization. You will face a new leadership culture, and as in your partners, you will have new procurement organization comes with new demands to you. Overall, there will be a new structure, new teams, new way of working together, but also there will be a larger question of being sustainable. So social responsibility and new environment standards will be hit or will be part of the demands and procurement in the future as well. And of course, digitization, big data, data analytics, and e-solutions in the future. And this is what we are doing at the BME International. You already know, I am able to share it afterwards. And these are the events we've done this year. And this is my great and the best team ever of BME. And first of all, this is maybe thank you. And I now try to come back and get the things done. Stoppen. So, and now I'm back. And this is a little bit the overview for all of you. And now I will come to Karsten Stehmann, because he's also part of one of our expert council, and that we don't run off time too much. Karsten, you mentioned you come to Macedonia and looking for some specific commodities. Yeah. I know you're also talking about digitization. So maybe you give a short overview regarding what's Battenfeld Cincinnati about, and what are the challenges and what are you looking for? Karsten, it's your turn.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Olaf, for introduction. Thank you, Marta, for inviting us. I will share my screen, just a second. Here. So that means I hope you can see my slide, yeah? Okay.
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, great, okay. So I've just prepared 5 or 6 slides. Me personally, I'm Karsten Stehmann, so Marta just perfectly pronounced. I know it's a little bit difficult for not German speakers. So I'm the head of purchasing for the Battenfeld Cincinnati. In this slide, I can give you a short overview about our company so that you know what we are. So we are, I guess we are a company what you can tell German Mittelstand, because we have 650 employees worldwide. We have a turnover nearly 150 million euro. You can see just over here our entities where we produce. We produce in Germany, in Austria, and as well in China and in the US. Okay, here you can see our employees. I think on detail it's not so important so far. Me personally, I'm responsible mainly, let's say mainly for the German, for the both German entities. But of course, we often talk with the other entities as well. So we discuss what is the supplier for this commodity, what do you have problems or not, or what is running well, and so on. On the right side, you can see some pictures of the machines we are producing. So that means we are in the machine building industry. So that means we produce machines for the plastic industry. So that means our customer produce plastic pipes, plastic profiles, plastic sheets. An advantage is that we, as Battenfeld Cincinnati, we can deliver complete lines. Mostly in our business, it is that the other company only deliver the extruder or the downstream. But our unique selling point, let's say, is that we can sell completely lines. That means an order from a customer to us, it's at the minimum 100,000 euro. Mostly it's 500, 600, 700,000 euro, and it goes up to, let's say, 3, 4, or 5 million euro for an order. It means also that every line we are selling, every extrusion line is very special. It's a single piece. It's special, custom designed. Every machine is different from the next machine. It's very important because we always react after we got the order, and then we have to purchase the parts, then we have to assemble, and so on. Let's say normally if the customer is placing an order at our company, we have time of 3 or 4 months, and in this time we have to engineer, we have to purchase, and we have to assemble, and we have to deliver. And that is because we are really always on time pressure. And so that means of course we need suppliers who can, let's say, deliver in short times, but let's say most important is that they really deliver on time. If you are a supplier for our company and you tell us this is our delivery time, then please, you have to deliver just in this time. What we are looking for at the moment. At the moment, I've written down it here in 4 or 5 lines. At the moment, we are searching suppliers for welded steel assemblies. For stainless steel, we need a lot of stainless steels, as well as we need a complete mechanical machining in the material quality, just as is shown here. But mostly we need it from diameter 1000 millimeter or more, because smaller ones we are doing by ourselves. And then I've written down 2 more topics. Cast aluminum, okay. If you are a supplier, if you know a supplier who can deliver this, please contact us. We are searching for cast aluminum. And last but not least, because that is why I am participating, because personally, I'm responsible for this commodity group. It's called Control Cabinets, including the complete assembly. I have 2 more slides to showing you something about it, but that is what we are looking for. And here it is written down again. We are special machine builders. We always need lot sizes between 1, 2, or 3 pieces. So that means we are no automotive. We are special machine builders. Yeah? It's very important to understand in the first step, because some suppliers, of course, are specialized at automotive industry, but then mostly they are not the correct partners for us. So control cabinets, up to 2010, we did it by our own. Then we sourced it out, gave it to a supplier in Germany. Give it to a supplier in Germany. We have, I can show you a picture of a typical control cabinet we are purchasing. Since 2010, a German supplier is delivering this to us. He is producing this sheet metal as well as the assembling and the wiring. We need a supplier who can do both, or who can wiring, of course, and assembling. And for example, it's okay if the supplier can purchasing the sheet metal at his own. That would be okay, of course, as well. Just if that you have an figure, normally we need 150 to or 200 control cabinets per year. Every control cabinet is different from the other. That's again important to know. Yeah, we normally give the conditions where we are buying at our supply. These conditions we can give to our control cabinet supplier, so that he can purchase to our conditions. And then normally the control cabinet company is giving us the hourly rates, the rate per hour, and then we can see, okay, it does fit or sorry, does not fit in the first step. And at the moment, it is really the situation that we only have, let's say, one supplier for those commodity group, and Olaf just told something about risk management and so on. Risk management on the one hand, and of course cost reduction on the other hand. I hope we can combine it, and we will find a second source supplier for this commodity group, and that would be great. I have just another picture just to see it. How it could be, of course, in the first step. It's enough to see, okay, Battenfeld Cincinnati is looking for a commodity group like this. Then in the first time we speak to each other in the time in which we are now in Corona pandemic time. We do this these meetings, of course, virtual online meetings. That's advantage, I can say at the moment, because it's very, very difficult to go to meet every supplier at his place in the first step, of course. So I guess last year, in for example November last year, or just say January, February this year, it was not normal to have a video call. But today it's totally normal. So that is an advantage. First step, we do it in this medium. We can share screens just as I am doing it at the moment. Of course, in the second step, we will participate from our company with purchasers, with engineers, and on the other side, the supplier is sitting with 1, 2, 3 employee, and then we are discussing. We can show and share drawings. We can go in our company with a mobile and scream it live to the supplier, and so that is the business life at the moment. And business life to come back, business life in March, in April, of course, it was very hard. We only looked forward to next week, I would say. Nobody looks 2, 3, or 4 weeks in the future, only always the next week. But that changed in the meantime, I guess. So I guess we learned to manage the pandemic, and we can look in the future more than 2 weeks or so, and that's my point of view at the moment. At last, I can show you my contacts. Maybe the one or other supplier is on the screen and says, okay, that sounds interesting. For example, the control cabinets or the other topics. Just write me an email, call me, or if you have a QR code reader on your telephone, just scan it and you have all the informations. So I looked just on the clock. It's some minutes to 12. So Olaf, sorry, back to you.
No, I think for all these companies of Northern Macedonia out there, I think it's the one thing is what's going on in Germany, and how important flexibility and reliability is in the future. It was in the past and will be in the future. But I think MAMEI and BME and also this Northern Macedonian Manufacturing Expo is for making business. And I think it's good to know how a typical small, medium-sized enterprise in Germany work. And by the way, maybe it was also a little bit surprising that a company called Battenfeld Cincinnati is 100% German, small and medium-sized enterprise. Maschinenbau, machinery building at its best. Karsten, thank you very much. Whenever there is a question out there, don't hesitate to contact Mr. Stehmann. So thank you very much. And maybe we have some time left afterwards for talking about some questions if Marta leaves us. So I try to hand over to Bogdan. Bogdan, you are, it's another untypical situation. Osborn is an American company with a big head in Germany. Now you are sitting in Romania, speaking to people in Northern Macedonia. This is modern supply chains. So what is Osborn is doing, and what are you looking for, and what are your challenges actually in the past and in the future? It's your place.
Well, I would start by saying zdravo to our Macedonian host and audience. Thank you also, Olaf, for the opportunity to speak here. Indeed, this year has put us all under a lot of pressure with the pandemic and all. Now I'm once again a little bit under pressure because of time. I will try to be brief, but yes, indeed, I will try to give you some information on our company Osborn. As Olaf mentioned, an American entity actually with a global footprint. Our headquarters are indeed in the United States, while European operations are headquartered in Europe. To be more precise, in Germany, yes. You see on the map all our locations, 13. Roughly, we are at about 2,000 employees, and well, we service more than 120 countries. Osborn is a private company with a long tradition in the production of tools for mechanical surface finishing. Main products are the technical brushes, polishing tools, liquid and solid polishing compounds, cutting, grinding, and sanding discs. As Olaf mentioned, made in Germany means 3 manufacturing locations in Germany, one for our polishing compounds in Hahn, another one and the European headquarters in Germany, Burgwald, where we produce power brushes and roller technology. And a third location is our abrasive manufacturing in Vunzidel. Now we come to my location, made in Romania, this time at a German standard. It is a location where we produce hand scratch brushes, power brushes, ATB tools, and abrasives. So a large portfolio of products which is actually produced in our location. We are located in the northeast of Romania. And a few words about our portfolio. So as mentioned, we are producers of power brushes, be it for several, cleaning operations and surface preparation. Also tools for power machines. Then, as I mentioned, because Olaf also mentioned the link with automotive. Yes, indeed, we are very much connected to the automotive industry, mainly through our portfolio of deburring tools. These are tools for machining centers, and indeed it exposes us a lot to the automotive industry. Another strong product for Osborn is the brush rolls, which serve actually the primary metals industries for various applications. We are also in the polishing area. We are present with polishing buffs and satinizing rollers. These are also targeting industrial users as well as DIY. So I mentioned among our locations, Romania, Germany, Romania, and the polishing tools. It's this time made in Portugal. We get back to Germany, and here I can show you our polishing compounds range, which is also serving targeted at industrial users as well as small DIY. Then again, there are some niche products for us, the strip brushes, and here we have various applications starting from protection for rails, and then maybe serving agriculture, and then all kind of industrial guiding applications, cleaning applications, and so on. Another core product for Osborn is the abrasives, where we have the production of cutting and grinding discs, diamond tools and diamond discs in Vunzidel, Germany, flap wheels produced in Osborn, Romania, polishing flap wheels produced in Romania, the grinding cups and ceramic abrasives cutting, grinding, sanding and polishing discs, which are made in Wunsiedel, Germany. Since I mentioned the American part of our company, I can mention here our range of idler rollers, which are designed to serve severe environments, industrial applications. They are maintenance-free systems, which are exclusively made in the United States. I have also prepared this sheet where you can see some of our customers, indeed many automotive names, but not only. And it is, yes, one of the directions in which our company is moving in order to serve, yes, to adapt to the change in the automotive industry from traditional technologies to the newer, greener technologies of the electric automobiles. One of the core values for our company, and very important to know for every potential supplier of Osborn, is our preoccupation for safety, for quality and sustainability. As a proof of these preoccupation of ours, we have the certification of OSA, which is the International Organization for the Safety of Abrasives, and also the fact that we have now more than 700 products, individual products, which have been individually certified by TÜV Süd. We have been the first brush maker to achieve this, to obtain the individual certification for our individual products. So it's not only about the overall production process and so on, but we went with our auditing of our products into detail for each for specific items. Quality demands are well backed up for by the quality certificates that Osborn managed to obtain during all these years, and it's ISO mainly, of course, everybody of you know, and then because you could see the fact that our product portfolio includes quite a large range of products where we use wood for our as a semi-finished product. We have our hand scratch brushes and brooms. Here we obtained the FFC certification. We want to ensure that the raw material that we are using comes from certified sources, and having all the time in mind the sustainability of our activities. In brief, I have managed to look through the profiles of the companies participating in this event, and we have already scheduled some meetings for the business to business meetings, looking for especially for metal parts. We have our main, let's say, points of interest are the stampings, because within our production we use several different types of metal rings and bushings, and basically in this area we are looking for potential suppliers for stamped parts. Then again, among the processes I can mention the powder coating capabilities are of interest for us for small parts. It's then potentially interesting for us machining capabilities. All of these having in mind that as opposite to the previous company speaking, we do have a large series production, and we do need partners able to supply bigger, large quantities of items. Indeed, as you could briefly see in my presentation, we do have a very complex product range, and this complexity breaks down in even bigger complex portfolio of semi-finished products which we purchase from our suppliers. Since during the discussion with Olaf yesterday, trying to understand what is the topics for today, I would say that the pandemic, especially the pandemic, brought up some new problems to us. I would mention mainly the issues in the logistic areas, where you see well, delays, suppliers struggling to get their raw materials in time. Us, in our turn, then put into also in the position to delay some of our well, production, and well, in the position to well, delay deliveries for our customers. It made it clear to us that these are times when indeed digitization of our business is more and more important, and then it was also the time when we tried to understand much better the importance of human resource. And it is, yes, indeed, as mentioned by Marta, one of the issues which affect, for example, Romania also, the lack, let's say, of personnel, the reality of people leaving the country for other countries where they are looking for better opportunities, and they can, well, maybe find better opportunities for work.
Okay, I think because, as you mentioned, Marta sent us the opportunity that we can extend a little bit this this panel from 12 to 12:20, and because 12:30 there will be another panel. Bogdan, thank you very much, and also Karsten, thank you for this presentation. And maybe the people out there recognize that small and medium-sized enterprises in Germany have different demands, different challenges, and maybe I have a chance. Karsten, I don't know if you have to leave or if you have another 5 minutes. Karsten, I want to write, Bogdan, okay. I will come back to you with the question as well. Karsten, one question. We talked about this area of flexibility in reliability and this small demands orientation. Did you have some specific challenges where you think, or did we have a recommendation to the people and the companies out there in North Macedonia, what you as a procurement professional like most if he is still prepared? Is it more if he's more able for give you a specific logistic answer, or is it that the company have to be digitized as much, or is it a little bit of everything? What are you looking for, and what do you like most if a supplier comes to you and gives you a solution? Because normally you don't looking for a supplier, you're looking for a solution provider.
That's totally right. Yeah, that's totally right. But at the end, it's a little bit of everything that's right. Of course, we want the supplier, he is working with digitalization. Yeah? Of course, we have electronic data interchange. So we do not want the order, for example, we do not want the order confirmation from the supplier on a paper or on an email, but on a direct system from per EDI, for example, because we do not want anybody here sitting is typing the order confirmation in our system. That is automatically. Of course, we are doing, especially in the actual time, but I guess after the pandemic as well, we are doing virtual discussions, of course, but I do not think that is very special anymore. And yeah, we just as you said, let's say 30 or 40 minutes ago, we look for a long-term partnership. Of course, we do not want to have a new supplier and then 1 or 2 years later we do not have it on our board, because it is always an invitation from our side in a new supplier. The supplier comes to us and says, okay, I can deliver this and this and this. And of course, we have to talk about it. We, in the first step, in the second or third step, we have to go to the supplier and in the shop floor and to discuss how he is working, and he is visiting us as well. And so this is what we are looking for. Yeah.
Sometimes it's like that, Karsten, you know, it will be discussed also in our expert council at the BME, but also at the BME symposium, which take place virtually 2 weeks ago as well. That on the one hand side, there is a huge change due to the COVID. On the other hand side, if we be realistic, there is nothing such a big change in working together, because you like to have digital suppliers before, you like to have reliable suppliers before, you like to have flexibility before. What changed is the thing of speed and transparency, that whenever that you need partners which are able to communicate as fast and transparent as possible, that you have the whole knowledge about your challenges. Because I think that was a change of the Corona crisis, when you suddenly recognize the border is closed and there's a truck standing somewhere, and you told us that you don't have so much time with your 1, 2, or 3 pieces. If this 1 or 2, 3 pieces stand at the border, it's bad. So therefore, this is, I think, the challenge changed or speed up a little bit, but are the same challenges. And I think this is also a news or a message for the suppliers out there in North Macedonia, that you think about what are the challenges of your potential partners and serve these problems before you get a partner of you. So think about your logistic processes. Think about also a way of what can I do for my potential buyer if there is a closed border, because you are not, as a supplier, not responsible for the closed border. Your buyer not either, but both of you have to find a quick and reliable solution to solve these problems. So be a reliable long-term partner, and don't forget, maybe also think about innovation. Innovation is not only that you have to make a robot Innovation is also mean that Mr. Stehmann needs somebody, he needs a product and you think you can make it better, faster or cheaper. And this is also innovation. So be a partner for your buyer and an innovation partner for your buyer, that he can solve the problem of his customers better with you together. So maybe this is a short summarize of that, what Karsten and Bogdan talking about. Bogdan, also one question to you. You are working worldwide, and we heard about 13 companies are in place for Osborn. Did you have challenges with the supply chains in the last 6 months? Did you still have challenges, or are the major challenges in Osborn solved in summer times and now you are prepared, and why you are prepared? Is it because you have the right partners?
Well, actually, we try to have the right partners, but challenges are there. And I don't know, it is true that well, the global footprint of Osborn brings in different problems from the various geographies. So we do have business in Asia. We use, and there are maybe now, for example, the usual problems of the logistic and the lack of resources for the logistic chain in Asia. So if you're ordering, I don't know, you have some deliveries from China, you see now quite big delays, but this is, let's say, more or less the case every year. But on the other hand, you get, I don't know, the same problem, but in geographies which were not usually affected by this. I don't know. It comes to my mind South Africa, for example. We do have situation, and we know that South Africa, they've been through a prolonged lockdown, and then transports have been impacted seriously by this. Then there is also the good side of it. I don't know. We do have partners who manage to overcome these problems. We do have partners, for example, which managed to come forward and understood our needs and managed to optimize their processes and so on, and in the end came to us with, I don't know, a cost saving, a cost reduction because of well, savings recorded in the on their production and supply chain. I don't know, I'm thinking maybe about let's say packaging, for example, where you see we recorded decreasing cost trends, and partners who acknowledged that and said, okay, during these times, much more difficult, and it was their way to well, be close to us and so on. So
I don't want, Bogdan, I don't want to interrupt you too hard, but I have to. I think I look at the watch and I know that Marta becoming nervous due to the situation that at 12:30 there is another panel. And this is sometimes the people don't realize that you are flexible with the digitalization. But if you are an online version, you are not flexible anymore. Marta, thank you for extend this thing. And I want to give you the opportunity for the last minute also to give the last word. So first of all, I want to thank Anja Quiring. She's not here anymore, but thank you for give us a short insight. But especially I'm very, very happy that you, Bogdan and Karsten, take your time and give a little bit of insight of what is Osborn and Battenfeld Cincinnati is looking at MAMEI Manufacturing Expo, because I think this is the food on the table. And I think that is why Marta and I, BME and MAMEI, organizing such events, because we want to make business able. And therefore, thank you for your time, for the preparation. thank you for being part of the B2B in the, at MAMEI on Manufacturing Expo. Thank you for all the partners. And thank you, Marta, also for inviting me. And congratulations for get this physical event, which I appreciate in Skopje very much. By the way, the best wine in my cellar is still a Northern Macedonian wine. I don't find a better one. So, and I hope I can get a glass of wine next year, live and in color in Skopje once more. Thank you, Marta. Do you want, you can have the last word.
Yeah, just a short wrap up. Also, maybe for the guests, I hope that there will be opportunity for you, that they will. That you will find tomorrow some nice and potential and suppliers with a good potential. And I just hope that you will have opportunity next year to try Macedonian wine that we also offer on our events. For all the suppliers that are listening, I would like to just wrap up and conclude that if it was challenging before, now it's becoming even more challenging. But if you are committed to your client, if you want to always to improve your work, if you are committed to deliver, and this is the basis for building good relationships, which I think is always the most important thing. So I want to just encourage all the Macedonian suppliers to not stop to develop their companies. It's not only the machine. Sometimes we are not able to maybe buy the new technology, but there are many more ways how to innovate and to deliver at the end a good product. That is one of the also reasons that MAMEI exists. To combine among the companies, if maybe 10 companies or 5 companies have a supplier and we all need the same technology to find ways how to cooperate. I want to thank all of you first being part of this year's Macedonian Manufacturing Expo. Your input was really valuable. I wish you all tomorrow successful meetings. I wish this pandemic to stop really as soon as possible, because I think that the personal contact is always better, and yeah, to be able in a year maybe to see somewhere. Yeah, I wish you all successful meetings tomorrow, and let's hope that we will be able to meet in person someday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marta.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.